Hello and welcome everyone, it's Capcan. We're looking at Elemental Shaman talent tree from the Dragonflight beta, and let's look at the talents. Let's see what do we have here. So first of all, we have our Earth Shock. 60 Maelstrom instantly shocks the target with concussive force, dealing pretty good nature damage. Okay, that's nothing new. Earthquake causes the Earth against 60 Maelstrom. Our AoE spender, that was our single target spender. It causes the Earth within 8 yards of the target location to tremble and break, dealing physical damage over 6 seconds, and has a 5% chance to knock the enemy down. Then we have Elemental Fury. Your damaging critical strikes deal 250% damage instead of the usual 200, which is quite a good incentive for you to go into crits. Then we have either such a very early choice with either that or that. Either Fire Elemental, 500 mana, instant 2.5 mana minutes cooldown, calls forth a greater Fire Elemental to rain destruction on your enemies for 30 seconds. While the Fire Elemental is active, Flame Shock deals damage faster, and newly applied Flame Shocks lasts 100% longer. Or Storm Elemental. So instant to same cooldown, calls forth a greater Storm Elemental to hurl gusts of wind that damage the Shaman's enemies for 30 seconds. While the Storm Elemental is active, each time you cast Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning, the cast time of Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning is reduced by 3%, stacking up to 10 times. So yeah, that's if you're gonna focus yourself around the fire damage or the storm damage, probably. And now we have 3 choices just instantly, like that. Okay, so let's go with the earthquake part. The start of the tree reminds me a bit of the previous Boomkin tree iteration that they've reworked, but here's a little bit more choice. Yeah, a little bit more, and these choice talents do much as well. So yeah, more interesting. Okay, Tumultuous Fissures increases the chance for Earthquake to knock enemies down by 3%, which is quite useful in either M+ or maybe some PvP, some mass PvP, or Inundate. Your successful Purge, Cleanse, Spirit, Healing Stream, Totem, Hex, and Wind Shear casts generate 8 Maelstrom during combat. Kinda weird that it is so early on the tree that we have a choice between either 1 CC ability or 2nd CC ability, and both of them are like okay for the PvE, but not like the biggest PvE stuff that you can imagine. And after that we have Call of Thunder, increases the damage of your Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Storm Elemental by 15%. So yeah, after completely utilitarian talent, we have like increased to your main skills with lightning. Alright, let's see what we have here. Primordial Fury. Your healing critical strikes heal for 250% healing instead of the usual 200. That's if you're going very heavy on crit strike chance. Or Ancestral Wolf Affinity, Cleanse, Spirit, Wind Shear, Purge, and Totem cuts no longer cancel Ghost Wolf. So that's more of a mobility utility, and that's more of a just straight up healing with crits stuff here, which is again a utilitarian choice from the start, and you can't really skip it. And then third one, I guess, is gonna be just like that as well. Refreshing Waters. Your healing surge is 30% more effective on yourself. Or Primordial Bond. While you have an elemental active, your damage taken is reduced by 5%, which is very, yeah, the percent itself is not high, but for 30 seconds it's pretty good. And Healing Surge is 30% more effective. That's if you're gonna spend a lot of time healing yourself. Very weird like start of the with choices in here, but okay, I guess as hybrid class they want to push this hybrid narrative more on you so that you can't really totally skip it, at least. So we have Call of Thunder, which is pretty good here. Flow of Power increases the maelstrom generated by Lightning Bolt and Lava Burst by 2 and their elemental overloads by 1. So additional maelstrom power generation with your stacking abilities, with your like just general abilities. Then Lava Surge. Your flame shock damage over time has a 10% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Lava Burst and cause your next Lava Burst to be instant. So that's very potent and good skill to have, good passive to have. So you're probably gonna take all the three of them, all the three paths, because like yeah, you're then skipping too big of a portion of stuff that you could have get. Interesting, very interesting how they are pushing the utility upon you. Unrelenting Calamity reduces the cast time of Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning by 0.25 seconds, increases the duration of Earthquake by 1 second, which means more damage. For Earthquake, okay, so that's, here we have lightning oriented stuff. Stormkeeper again, 1.44 seconds cast time, charge yourself with lightning, causing your next 2 lightning bolts to deal 150% more damage, and also causes your next 2 lightning bolts or chain lightnings to be instant cast and trigger an elemental overload on every target. If you already know Stormkeeper, instead gain 1 additional charge of Stormkeeper. How can you know? Like, there was no Stormkeepers in this part of the tree, in general part of the tree. Maybe for the elemental it's not like that, but I don't quite see it here. Yeah, which means like, okay. Flash of Lightning. Casting Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning reduces the cooldown of your nature spells by 1 second. So that's if you're hardly investing into the lightning skills. Eye of the Storm. Wait a second. I'm very sorry with the pops. Eye of the Storm reduces the maelstrom cost of Earth Shock and Earthquake by 5. Okay. Reduces the maelstrom cost of Elemental Blast by 7. Alright, so less costly spenders, which is great because you're gonna feel that bursty skills more often. Then what we have with near the lightning parts, Ice Fury. 1.9 seconds cast time, 30 seconds cooldown, hurls frigid ice at the target, dealing pretty low frost damage and causing your next 4 frost shocks to deal 225 increased damage and generate 8 maelstroms. Oh, and generate 25 maelstrom. Okay, so yeah, that's if you want to go again into more of an ice parts and more of an ice damage, you can do it. Flux Melting. Casting Frost Shock increases the damage of your next Lava Burst by 20%. Ice Fury causes your Frost Shocks to damage up to 3 additional enemies and targets hit take 15% increased nature damage from your spells for 6 seconds. Chain Lightning prefers targets with this effect. Man, that's like you have your ice part in the enhancement Shaman and you have your ice part in the elemental as well, which is quite cool. Quite like, yeah, additional interesting stuff. Increases your maximum maelstrom by 50, swelling maelstrom. Yeah, it can be handy definitely in some situations when you don't really have it's not like right time for you to spend your maelstrom. Maelstrom doesn't stack as fast as some other resources with other classes. Which means that yeah, you're and increasing the bar up to 50 additional it can be very good. Lava Burst has an additional charge, good talent as well. Then we have either Aftershock, Earth Shock, Elemental Blast, and Earthquake has a 25% chance to refund all maelstrom spend. Okay, so you can have more spenders. Or Surge of Power. Earth Shock, Elemental Blast, and Earthquake enhance your next spell cast within 15 seconds. For Flame Shock, the next cast also applies Flame Shock to 1 additional target. Lightning Bolt, your next cast will cause an additional 2 elemental overloads. Chain Lightning, your next cast will chain to 1 additional target. Lava Burst reduces the cooldown of your Fire and Storm elemental by 6 seconds. Oh, that's good. And Frost Shock freezes the target in place for 6 seconds. And with AoE Frost Shocks, you can freeze the whole pack. Yeah, quite interesting. That's way yeah, you need to test these things. Looks interesting. At least it's not like simple at all. You have different styles, different themes going on around everywhere, and all the talents looks very good. Even though there are not quite as many of them as you could have get. Call of Fire increases the damage of your Flame Shock, Lava Burst, Lava Beam, and Fire Elemental by 10%. So that's more of your fire themed part. Flames of the Cauldron reduces the cooldown of Flame Shock by 1.5 seconds, and Flame Shock deals damage 15% faster. More Flame Shocks, more damage from Flame Shocks. Power of the Maelstrom. Casting Lava Burst has a 5% chance to cause your next 2 Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightnings cast to trigger Elemental Overload an additional time, and then it's gonna go up to 10%. Then Master of Elements. Casting Lava Burst increases the damage of healing, or the damage or healing of your next nature, physical, or spell or frost spell by 10 and then 20%. Okay, so yeah, more frost and fire theme again. Improved Flame Tongue weapon. Imbuing your weapon with Flame Tongue increases your fire spell damage by 5% for 1 hour. More statistically interesting stuff here. Let's go probably first with... No, let's go with fire as it was more recent for us to like see it and look at it. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, so either Primal Elementalist, your Fire, Earth, and Storm Elementals are drawn from Primal Elementals, 80% more powerful than regular Elementals with additional abilities, and you gain direct control over them. Yeah, so that's for your cooldown to be way more powerful. Or Liquid Magma Totem. Summons a totem at the target location and that erupts, dealing 300 fire damage and applying Flame Shock to 3 enemies within 8 yards, continuous, hurling liquid magma at a random nearby target every 0.9 seconds for 6 seconds, dealing 200 fire damage to all enemies within 8 yards. 1 minute cooldown. That's the thing that you want to have in M+, probably, that deals pretty good AoE damage for almost every pack with 1 minute cooldown. Yeah, looks kind of cool. And like increasing your elemental's strength or getting additional magma totem, stylistically both skills are very cool. Searing Flames. A Flame Shock damage has a 100% chance to generate 1 Maelstrom, so dot ticks, I guess. Not only direct damage, I hope, because Maelstrom gains are a little bit too short. And with AoE Flame Shocks, it's gonna be pretty good, I guess. Or Magma Chamber. A Flame Shock damage increases the damage of your next Earth Shock, Elemental Blast, or Earthquake by 0.7%. Yeah, so here I know for sure that they mean Flame Shock as your dot damage, not only initial damage. Stacking up to 20 times, and then by 1.5%. All right. Either Wind Speaker's Lava Resurgence. When you cast Earth Shock or Elemental Blast, gain Lava Surge and increase the damage of your next Lava Burst by 20%. Okay. Or Skybreaker's Fiery Demise. Flame Shock damage over time. Critical strikes reduce the cooldown of your Fire and Storm Elemental by 1 second. And Flame Shock has a 50% increased critical strike chance. Man, that's very heavy emphasis on you to get more crit strikes. Yeah, interesting skills, definitely look pretty cool and powerful. Oh, so yeah, that's just how we had it in with the enhancement. So either Ascendance, you transform into a Flame Ascendant for 15 seconds, replacing Chain Lightning with Lava Beam, removing the cooldown on Lava Burst and increasing the damage of Lava Burst by an amount equal to your critical strike chance. When you transform into the Flame Ascendant, instantly cast a Lava Burst at all enemies affected by your Flame Shock and refresh your Flame Shock duration for 18 seconds, 3 minutes cooldown. Yeah, very cool. And other type of Ascendant. Or casting Lava Burst has a 7% chance to activate Ascendance for 6 seconds. So yeah, you either have sustainable procs of Ascendance C, or you have it as cooldown with 3 minutes cooldown, which is good for your damage windowses, but not as good for your sustainable damage output. Then we have Oath of the Farseer. Reduces the cooldown of Ascendance by 30 seconds and you gain 8% additional haste while Ascendance is active. So it's just good for your only one part of this For the other, you gain 8 additional haste. So it's way better for your this part rather than this, because it doesn't give you additional chance of proccing, which is a little bit weird. Maybe it's too hard. It's too powerful already. Which means that if it's too powerful already, then you probably want to take Deeply Rooted Elements more than Ascendancy without taking further talents, but not 100% sure. Further beyond, casting Earth Shock or Earthquake while Ascendance is active extends the duration of Ascendance by 2.5%. By 2.5 seconds. Wait, casting Earth Shock while you're spending your Maelstrom, it extends Ascendance duration, and then casting Elemental Blast while Ascendance is active extends the duration of Ascendance by 3.5 seconds. So yeah, you can prolong your cooldown very, very heavily, which means that with procs it may be not as good, because you wouldn't really be able to predict when it's gonna proc. So for you to have enough Maelstrom to spend it and increase the duration, and with this part and with additional 60 per seconds of the cooldown, it looks better. It looks way better. Here we have Primordial Wave. Blast your target with a Primordial Wave, dealing shadow damage, and apply Flame Shock to an enemy or heal an ally. Your next lava burst will also hit all targets affected by your flame shock for 80% of normal duration. Now that looks way better than stuff on the enhancement shaman, but at least in my eyes, maybe I'm wrong here as well. So but looks cool. It looks good. We've used that spell in the Shadowlands. That's Shadowlands Necrolord skill. Echo Chamber increases the damage dealt by your elemental overloads by 8%. And then we have, did I already look at it? Earth Shock, no. Earth Shock, Elemental Blast, and Earthquake can trigger your Mastery Elemental Overload at 50% effectiveness. Overloaded Earthquakes do not knock enemies down. Okay. So that's a very hard increase of your Mastery effect. And here we have, again, Elemental Overloads damage dealt. Yeah, so that's for the Mastery, so not so much for the crits. Rolling Magma. Lava Burst and Lava Burst Overload damage reduces the cooldown of Primordial Wave by 0.5 seconds. Okay, so you would have Primordial Wave uptime way better than you could have had. Heat Wave. Casting Primordial Wave triggers Lava Surge immediately and every 3 seconds for 12 seconds. Ooh, that's quite good. Splintered Elements. Each additional lava burst generated by Primordial Wave increases your haste by 10 seconds for 12 seconds. Oh, so that's just like with Lightning Bolts, but in the Enhancement Shamans we have it with lava bursts. So additional haste, man, and increases for haste. Yeah, so much choices, and so much interesting choices as well. So that we see. And now here, Elemental Blast replaces Earth Shock. Replaces Earth Shock, so your spender becomes your other spender, and it was like a regular spell in the previously. 0.12 seconds cooldown, so no cooldown. 1.9 seconds cast time. Harnesses the raw power of the elements, dealing 3000 elemental damage and increasing your critical strike or haste by 3% or mastery by 6% for 10 seconds. Man, it's quite interesting here. I don't know about it. Yeah, need to play it all to check it off. Echoes of Great Sundering. After casting Earth Shock, your next Earthquake deals 60% additional damage. Alright, so and after casting Elemental Blast, your next Earthquake deals 70% additional damage. So yeah, that's if you've used your single target spender, now get an additional damage for your AoE spender, which is quite, but 140% additional damage, holy shit. Elemental Equilibrium. Dealing direct fire, frost, and nature damage within 10 seconds will increase all damage dealt by 8% for 10 seconds. This can only occur once every 30 seconds, and then it's gonna go up to 15%. Oh, that's very juicy procs. And the last, again, Stormkeeper. So you just can take it twice. That's for burst, and that's definitely either for PvP or some shenanigans like that. because yeah, just two additional charges of Stormkeeper, maybe it can be good in PvE as well, but Lightning Rod, Earth Shock, Elemental Blast, and Earthquake make your target a Lightning Rod for 8 seconds. Lightning Rods take 20% of all damage you deal with Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning. Yeah, that's... I'm sorry, but that's way better than Stormkeeper for PvP. Probably again. I'm not the too big of a master. And Stormkeeper we already saw. So yeah, you can have either more burst or like just... you're like marking your enemies and then you're gonna deal them splash damage from all your lightning bolts and chain lightnings, which is quite cool. Yeah, the tree definitely 100% is very cool. I like it. It's a little bit weird. There are some like unintuitive ways to shove in your face some utility and stuff. It definitely has interesting paths to go through. I like it. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good day. Subscribe if you don't mind. I'm gonna appreciate it very much, very hard. And yeah, goodbye.